Welcome, fellow time travelers. Ready to discover the history your teacher definitely skipped? From outrageous events to oddball figures, we're diving into the past's weirdest secrets. So grab your popcorn and get comfy, because history is about to get hilariously bizarre. Today we're exploring a mystery that has baffled scholars, cryptographers, and historians for centuries: the Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript is often called the world's most mysterious book, and for good reason. It's filled with strange illustrations, written in an unknown script, and no one has been able to decode it, despite countless attempts. Is it a hoax, an elaborate code, or something far more otherworldly? Today we'll explore the history, the theories, and the ongoing quest to understand this cryptic text. Let's begin with the discovery of the Voynich Manuscript and the man who brought it to the world's attention: Wilfrid Voynich. Wilfrid Voynich was a Polish-American antiquarian and book dealer, born in 1865. He had a knack for finding rare and unusual texts, and in 1912, during one of his trips to Europe, he came across a collection of ancient manuscripts at the Villa Mondragone, a Jesuit college in Frascati, Italy. Among these manuscripts was a small, unassuming book that immediately caught his eye. It was unlike anything he had ever seen before, filled with strange, unreadable text and peculiar illustrations. Voynich purchased the manuscript and spent the rest of his life trying to unlock its secrets, but despite his efforts, he never succeeded. The manuscript soon took on his name, becoming known as the Voynich Manuscript. The manuscript itself is about 240 pages long, though it's believed that some pages may be missing. It's written on vellum, animal skin, using an unknown script. The text flows from left to right, and the pages are filled with elaborate, often bizarre illustrations. Some show plants that don't exist in the real world. Others depict astrological symbols, strange creatures, and nude women bathing in what appears to be some kind of green liquid. To this day, no one has been able to decipher the text or determine what the images are supposed to represent. What makes the Voynich Manuscript so intriguing is not just its mysterious content, but its history. After Wilfrid Voynich's death, the manuscript passed through several hands before eventually being donated to Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, where it remains today. But the manuscript's history stretches back much further than Voynich's discovery. Carbon dating of the vellum has placed its creation in the early 15th century, between 1404 and 1438. That means the manuscript predates the invention of the printing press by several decades. However, the true origin of the manuscript and the identity of its author remain unknown. Over the centuries, the manuscript passed through many hands. One of the earliest known owners was Georg Barisch, a 17th century alchemist from Prague. Barisch was so perplexed by the manuscript that he sent it to Athanasius Kircher, a Jesuit scholar famous for his work in cryptography, hoping that Kircher could decipher it. But even Kircher, who claimed to have deciphered Egyptian hieroglyphs, was unable to make sense of the Voynich Manuscript. As with any great mystery, the Voynich Manuscript has inspired a wide range of theories. Let's start with one of the most straightforward: the idea that the manuscript is a hoax. The hoax theory suggests that the manuscript was created as a prank or as a way to deceive wealthy collectors. After all, the 15th century was a time when alchemy, mysticism, and the search for secret knowledge were at their peak. It's possible that someone created the manuscript to sell it as an ancient, magical text. The strange illustrations and the indecipherable script would have made it seem exotic and valuable, perfect for duping someone who wanted to believe in hidden wisdom. But if the Voynich Manuscript is a hoax, it's an incredibly elaborate one. The script follows linguistic patterns similar to those of real languages, with consistent word structures and frequencies. Moreover, the manuscript's vellum and ink have been authenticated as being from the early 15th century, making it difficult to dismiss as a simple forgery. Another theory suggests that the manuscript was the work of a genius or a madman who invented their own language. This theory proposes that the manuscript was a personal project, created by someone with a unique mental condition that led them to develop an entirely new script and language. While this might explain the manuscript's strange text, it doesn't account for the detailed illustrations, many of which seem to depict medicinal plants, astrological diagrams, and processes that may have been intended to convey real information. Then there's the idea that the Voynich Manuscript is an encoded medical or alchemical treatise. This theory gained popularity because many of the illustrations appear to show plants and herbs, which could suggest a connection to medicine or herbalism. In the medieval period, knowledge about herbs and alchemy was often encoded to protect it from misuse or to keep it hidden from the church, which was suspicious of anything that smacked of heresy or witchcraft. Some researchers have speculated that the manuscript could be a guide to creating alchemical potions or a record of secret medical knowledge. But if that's the case, why has no one been able to decipher it? Many ciphers from that time period have been cracked. So what makes this one so different? One of the most intriguing and controversial theories is that the Voynich Manuscript is a relic of a lost civilization or a message from extraterrestrial beings. Yes, you heard that right. Some theorists believe that the manuscript's strange language and imagery might be evidence of contact with an alien civilization, or that it's the last remnant of a lost culture with knowledge far beyond what we understand. While this theory stretches the bounds of credibility, it highlights just how baffling the manuscript is. The fact that no one has been able to decode it, despite centuries of effort, leaves the door open to all kinds of speculation, some more outlandish than others. There's also the possibility that the manuscript is written in a dead or forgotten language, one that hasn't survived into the modern era. This would make it incredibly difficult to decipher, as there would be no living speakers or known text to compare it to. But again, this doesn't fully explain the mysterious content of the manuscript or its complex illustrations. Could it be that the manuscript contains information encoded in a way we simply haven't yet discovered? Some researchers believe that the manuscript might use a cipher that's different from any we've encountered before, one that requires a key or a certain kind of knowledge that's been lost to time. The text of the Voynich Manuscript is puzzling enough, but the illustrations add another layer of mystery. Let's take a closer look at what these drawings might mean. The manuscript is divided into sections, each featuring different types of illustrations. The largest section is devoted to what appear to be botanical drawings, pictures of plants. However, these aren't plants that exist in the real world. Some researchers have suggested that they could be stylized versions of real plants, but no one has been able to identify them with certainty. This has led to speculation that the plants might represent something other than actual botanical species, perhaps metaphorical or alchemical symbols. Another section of the manuscript contains what appear to be astronomical and astrological diagrams. These include depictions of the zodiac, along with illustrations of what might be star charts or cosmic maps. Astrology was a significant part of medieval science and medicine, so it's possible that these diagrams were meant to convey important information about the influence of the stars on human health or alchemical processes. But the most unusual and perplexing illustrations in the manuscript are those in the so-called balneological section, which depict groups of nude women bathing in strange, interconnected tubs or pools of liquid. Some researchers believe these images might represent a form of hydrotherapy or alchemical purification, but their exact meaning remains a mystery. Why were these images included, and what do they have to do with the rest of the manuscript? There's also a section that appears to show pharmaceutical recipes or instructions, alongside images of containers, herbs, and possibly alchemical ingredients. This has led some to speculate that the manuscript might be a guide to preparing medicinal compounds, but without understanding the text, it's impossible to say for sure. The illustrations seem to hint at a purpose, perhaps as a medical or alchemical guide, but without being able to read the text, we can only guess at what that purpose might be. The Voynich Manuscript is more than just a puzzle. It's a mirror reflecting the limits of our knowledge. Despite centuries of study and the best tools modern science has to offer, it remains an enigma. Perhaps that's why it continues to captivate us. In a world where information is so easily accessible, the Voynich Manuscript stands as a testament to the unknown, a reminder that some secrets, no matter how hard we try, may never be revealed. Will we ever crack the code of the Voynich Manuscript, or is it destined to remain one of history's unsolved mysteries? Only time will tell. And that, my curious comrades, wraps up another wild trip through history's weirdest back alleys. If you enjoyed this journey, don't just keep it to yourself. Follow, and share the madness.